Hello and welcome to the Nordic Finance YouTube channel, and today we're going over part 2 of our web design series. So in today's episode we're going over a couple of the basics, just a little more in depth. We're going over header layouts, how to set up an effective main menu. We're going over the above the fold method. We're also going over a deep dive on how to use Canva and how to apply your logo to Canva photos, how to set up a custom color palette, and then in the end we'll be tying everything together. So jumping right into it, what is a header and how do we create a header layout? So a header is going to be this section right here that is above our main menu items. And in our header, we usually want to have a descriptive title or a branded name. We also want to have our logo or any other signifying imagery that links the project or the web page to what we're doing or talking about. We also want to have some general navigation tools. If it's a web store, having a cart and account icon and even a search icon up here or a search link up there is really helpful to help your customers kind of quickly navigate to the pages that they're looking for. And when it comes to actually building these kind of header slots or header pages for the website, usually a lot of the web builders nowadays, Weebly, Shopify, Google Sites, have built-in header creation sections. So you want to use that, upload in your pre-generated emblem. I like to use Canva for my emblems. And then from there, you want to make sure that you add in all of your, colors that match your color palette, and then any other useful links for your customers or your clients or whoever is going to be on your web page. You want to keep whoever is using your web page and your target audience in mind while designing your header, because generally speaking, your header is going to be the first thing someone sees or interacts with when landing on your page. That kind of brings us to the main part of the top of the web page, which is the main menu. Now on this page, which has a very minimalistic layout, our main menu is simply just in this border margin here, and it just has very simple quick links to various aspects of the page. Now, obviously, this page is just a work in progress, and then you can hot link back. Now, this is super important because it actually allows people to navigate to the sections of your page that they came onto your site to interact with. And this is important because something that we're constantly struggling with as a web developer, as a website builder, however you want to verb it, something we are struggling with is what's called bounce rate, which is how many people are going onto your website and clicking off of your website before they do what you want them to do. Now, this can be quite frustrating because if you have a good idea or a good product or something that you really want to share with the world, and your website has a really high bounce rate, people aren't going to stay on your website long enough to actually interact with the parts of your site that you want them to interact with. So how can we actually avoid this as web developers? Well, we can make engaging front-end menus that allow people to quickly interact with the parts of the page that they came to interact with. Now, you'll also notice kind of in a part of the page that we're going to get to in a second, but you'll notice that there's also other interactable parts of the page that allow you to quickly navigate to whatever you may want. This is super important for two reasons. Having an engaging site that naturally flows will automatically keep people more engaged, which will lower your bounce rate. And also having an easy to view, easy to navigate site will keep people happy and keep them enjoying the experience of interacting with your page, as opposed to getting lost or bogged down in clunky menu items. And that is something that everyone hates. And in 2021, the tolerance for clunky menus is pretty much non-existent. If your web page doesn't flow smoothly, people will just leave the page. And it's kind of just a fact of the matter with attention span and how busy people are these days. So you really want to have your web page flow naturally. And like I said, that can be done by just keeping your menu simple, to the point, and easily accessible for everyone. And don't make it cryptic. If it's your policies page, don't say secret documents. If it's your brands that you carry, don't say the vision. You can play around with this stuff a little bit in your main headers and stuff, but if you want to have your spring supply linked, it might be a good idea to have it in a sub menu like this as opposed to a menu item here, just to keep the top menu as clutter-free as possible. And remember, you can always put hot links and other buttons and anything else you want elsewhere in the page. So kind of going along with the idea of keeping the page streamlined and to the point, the next main subject we have is the concept called above the fold. Now the fold is this right here. This is the fold. When we scroll down, we're now below the fold. So the fold is pretty much the part of the website that you actually see without opening up the page per se. Now this comes from newspaper terminology, where if something was on the front page above the fold, it meant that it was actually on the front page and you didn't have to open the paper at all to see it. And like a newspaper, we want the things above the fold on our website to be the most important and the most eye-catching parts of our story, of our products, whatever it may be. We want our engaging stuff above the fold. So kind of a simple idea, but it's really not talked about a whole lot. So again, the fold is just this crease on the website that we want to be above, and we want to have our important interactable items above the fold. So without scrolling down on this website at all, we have everything we need to know about the team, return policies, shipping times, what brands they carry, and we can actually go and start shopping here. So we have the official brand shop over here with its items, and then we go back and then we have the other brand over here, EXO, with their items. Pretty straightforward, but you'll notice that when you're back on this homepage, here's EXO, and then in a little bit, it'll naturally cycle over to the official brand, just like that. And you have everything you need right there to navigate the page, to get to the cart, to access your account, and to check out without ever actually having to scroll through the page and look at these other parts of the page that are a little bit more catered to people that are highly engaged with your brand or your image. You know, if someone's really interested in your products, they're going to go through this stuff. They're going to kind of see what you have to offer. But if someone really needs something right away, or they're not super interested, they're going to be looking at what they can do on your website without actually having to scroll down or scroll through it. That being said, below the fold, you want to have this information that's a little bit more in depth. Maybe something about your vision, something about your story, why you're doing what you're doing, why you made your website. And then a little tip that I learned from Tesla's web design is that if you have a goal, that like the main goal of your website, if your website has a goal, make sure your website aims to do that goal often. Now, what I mean by that is if the goal of this website is to show people what products are available on the web page, show them the products often. It's pretty simple, but it goes over a lot of early web developers' heads. It certainly did for me, is that if your page is all about telling a story or showing someone a certain aspect of a project, make sure you're doing that on every part of the page. So here we have our fold above the fold. We're selling products. We're here to sell products with this web page. So you can shop products right away. We go below the fold. Now, like I said, we're into a little bit more in-depth information, but we're still here trying to complete the goal of the project or the goal of the website, which in this case is to sell merchandise that we think is beneficial to our clientele. Now, going down a little farther, so this is actually the first part of the page where we don't have a call to action. We don't have a way, we don't know, there's no selling happening here directly, but people are here learning more about the brands. They're building their own opinion of what's happening on the page with the brands. You know, they have a time to think in between all of the call to actions. But then if they continue to scroll down, we're right back to where we started. We're back to the brands. And this is important. And if you look at Tesla's website, you actually see on every part of their website, there is the option to buy the car. There's the option there, there's the option there, and the option there. And I like to take that idea with web design and make sure that if your website has a goal, make sure that the website is aiming to accomplish the goal as frequently as possible without it being rude or overbearing to the person that is actually viewing the website. So that kind of brings us to the end of the basics of web design. Now we're going to go into Canva and go over some ways on how to make logos like this and how to brand your images to make them look really nice and professional. So here we have just kind of like a base Canva logo design that has just been put, in Canva for us. And here with a white background, once you've created your design, you can go here and you want to select transparent background. And once you've downloaded a transparent background, so you want to create a free trial if you haven't. And then you can cancel out of the free trial once you're done. I actually own, the subscription for this on a different account. This is just the demo account for the video. But if you want, go for the full subscription. It's worth it with Canva, in my opinion. I think it's like $15 a month. But if not, just do your 30-day free trial. Go in and get that transparent background, okay? Once you have that transparent background, it's going to create something like this. So we're going to go over here and we're going to set a black background. That's not black. There we go. And we're going to actually go and just like delete this really quick and go to our uploads. And here's an example of something that has like a clear background that I created with Canva. As you can see, this makes it possible to create like branded imaging. So let's say we have this and we're going to send this backwards right here. Move this off to the side. Now we're going to fit this to the frame. And then we're going to pull up our branded image. And let's say we just want our logo in the bottom corner. Well, now just like that, we have our branded image with our little logo here that we just created with the transparent background. And now we can just go and download this and put it right in our site, and we'll have our universal brand logo directly on the picture. And we can do this with any number of pictures here. We can just do another one real quick. We'll just layer it up like that, send it backward, and then boom, just like that, maybe a phone wallpaper or something else with your logo on it. But it's just nice. Going back over to the website, I'll show you an example. Here we have a very small, the company logo, just kind of hidden in one of the other logos to just add a little bit more of a unified feel. And this is going to kind of bring us over to just how to create our branded images and how to, create a unified look on our website. Now, something else that I've been asked is how do we create different sized images in Canva? Well, so once we have our clear logo here that we did, so remember we did our transparent background when we had our all white logo, and that created our transparent one that we've been using. So if you want to go over to Canva, you can go create design and then custom size, and you can actually choose any size here. So a lot of websites will say, hey, for your favicon icon, we want 36 by 36 pixels. Okay, this you got to do at least 40 by 40, but it's close enough that the couple pixels isn't going to make a difference. So now we create our design. Okay, perfect. And since we downloaded our last clear, our transparent background logo, what we want to go now is we want to go over here, click upload media, and we're going to re-upload that same transparent design. And now we're going to transport it into here. And now we have that transparent logo, our universal logo, where we can use it in any sized image. So once it's in Canva, now this is a universal color seed. And this color seed will actually allow you want to write this down somewhere, but when you go into your web page and you're choosing like your background or your text colors and stuff, you just want to go into the color palette in your website when you're editing it, and you just want to put in that color seed directly. Copy paste it, write it down word for word, however you want to get it into your website accurately. But that way you don't have to worry about like visually matching color palettes to each other, because everyone's eyes are a little different. You know, one color might look the same to you, might look a little different to someone else. This way you're actually like mathematically for sure matching every color to the exact color on your logos, on your background images, and then on your website. And that's really important just to make everything tie together properly. But that was actually the last tip I had to go over for today's video. If this has been helpful, be sure to leave a thumbs up.